Hola, minasan! Welcome back for another round of One Piece. I hope you all doing good today, because on the last set of chapters, we met Sanji, and we're about to end up meeting a new villain named Don Krieg. Um, I don't like to make the comparisons between live action and manga, but I'm extraordinarily happy that the manga is completely different from the live action. So I'm getting a nice, fresh experience without the live action influence. And I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far, especially of Sanji and his heart shaped eyes for Nami. Very typical extreme shonen chase the girls kind of thing. But now that Don Creek is about to come in, I'm very interested in this guy because he wasn't introduced in live action, and he sounds like a fun guy. He sounds pretty fun. I doubt it, but who knows? All right, so let's not waste too much time, everybody, and let's begin reading. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 46, An Uninvited Guest. The the cooking ship Baratier continued to swim out into the sea, nice and quietly, through the nice calm waters. All kinds of things had happened recently, just a moments ago, and Sanji spoke up. Hey, crap geezer! I'm the assistant chef here. What do you mean I'm not needed? You fight with the customers. You waste hours flaring your nostrils for the women. And you're a lousy cook. You're nothing but dead weight, Sanji. The other cooks don't much like you either. So go be a pirate and get out of my restaurant. Sanji stared out at Zeph as he crossed as the old man crossed his arms, leaning on the chair with his large chef hat, and the crowd watching on very silently. Suddenly, Sanji grabbed Zeph by the collar and pulled him closer. Don't step over the line, old man. You can insult me, but don't ever insult my cooking. I'm staying right here. You have no say in the matter. And suddenly, Zeph flipped Sanji over onto a table, breaking dishes, collapsing the table. And he screamed out, "Don't lay your hands on me, you underdone eggplant." Woof! Ouch! Sanji leaned, Sanji lifted himself up and rested his hand on his knee as Luffy's crew held their plates of food, preventing them from falling on the floor and being ruined. Zaf looked down at Sanji with disgust in his face. You can kick me out! Sanji yelled out loud. I'll cook here forever! Until you die! I won't die, Zaf said as he slowly walked away with his back turned to Sanji. I'll live another 100 years. Gotta have the last word, eh? Sanji said with gritted teeth. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, the chef spoke. You hear what Sanji said? He wants to be head chef. Back over at the dining area, Luffy stood next to Sanji with a big smile on his face and hands on his hip. Great, dude. You got permission. Come be my cook. Never. Suddenly, Sanji stretched his right arm around Nami, his left arm in a near hug pose. He let out a light smile, letting out that puff of his smoke. Forgive the commotion, he said. A fruit macedonier with my compliments. He presented the wine and the fruit cup, And Nami smiled gleefully with her hands clasped. And Grand Marnier has a digestive, my princess. Oh, thank you, she said. How gallant. Not at all. Hey! Usopp waved at at Sanji in anger. Don't we get any? He started pounding on slapping the table. That's discrimination. I'll sue. Meanwhile, Zolo just merely continued drinking his drink. Sanji leaned close to Usopp. I gave you tea, didn't I? You should be grateful, you mangy octopus. You wanna fight? Usopp said, leaning in closer. I'm not gonna take that from you. Get him, Zolo. To which Zolo replied, get him yourself. Jeez. Luffy leaned into Nami's fruit bowl with mouth agape like jaws, as Nami unassumingly ate her fruit, unaware of Luffy's attempt. Delicious. Usopp then pointed at the plate to Sanji. You haven't even cleared my plate. To which Sanji replied, there are mushrooms on it. Eat them. I don't like mushrooms. I ate a punch of mushroom once when I was a kid. You know what it did to me? Usopp said with his nose stretched outward and bending up on Sanji's forehead. Well, those aren't poisonous, so eat every bite, long nose, and become Super Mario now. Oh, please, don't fight over me. Nami clasped her hands, feigning her femininity. As you wish. Who's fighting over you? Usopp yelled at her. Then Sanji leaned in close, and Nami pulled him in, caressing his cheek. Chef, dear. Yes, my sweet. This gourmet fare is a tad pricey. For you, it's free. Nami quickly hugged him, gave him a hug as his heart-shaped eyes blinded him to the trickery. Hooray, my hero. Oh, pay up, you bums. What? Usopp snorted out a puff of smoke out of his nose in pure anger. Solo crossed his arms and looked across. Nami, did you bewitched him? Dude, good tea. Ah, you really better watch out, too. Nami chuckled as she took another sip of wine. Oh my gosh. Suddenly, a couple of girls saw him, and one spoke up. Hi, Sanji, I missed you. So nice to see you, Roxanne. To which Nami and Usopp stared out with sweat drops hanging off their head, off the back of their heads. What a ladies' man, Usopp said. And suddenly, Sanji threw an axe kick onto Luffy's head, on the top of Luffy's head, making him splurt out his drink. Enough goofing off, chore boy. Offer hot towels to our customers. Okay, dude. Luffy says he was dragged away by Sanji. 2 days later, Baratier, from out of nowhere, a glass broke. Dud Craig's pirate ship! The flag of a hourglass and skull and crossbones flapped into the wind. Ooh, the crowd said. The patrons looked outside the window and gasped in horror. The hourglasses beside the skull mean that time's run out for their enemies. The patron expositioned. I should use that. Write an exposition and be like the person expositioned. There's no mistake. It's Craig's Pirates. What do they want? The crowd started gasping and gulping as the pirate ship drew closer to Baratier. One of the chefs saw Patty and said, "See, Patty, they're here. You deal with them." It can't be. The Dawn of the Pirate Armada and his 5,000 men here. We don't have enough food. How are we gonna feed them all? Would they just come to avenge one flunky? Well, they're here. That's definitely a ship. Whoa! Usopp said as he jumped he hopped in place. Yeah, he hopped in place. This is bad. Let's get out of here. um. Oh, okay. They're still on the pirate ship. Okay, they're on their ship. Zolo looked very stoically out on the deck as Yosaku and Johnny screamed out, "Brothers, it's there! We don't want to die." That was oh yeah. We don't want to die, brothers. It's I realized I didn't give Yosaku a voice. Oh well, that's fine. We only need Johnny. Dude, that ship is huge. Maybe Jin's back to say thanks. Luffy said to Sanji. I doubt it, but something seems odd. And Zaf just stared out there as he hears the woo. That ship is a wreck. Indeed it was, for the ship had all sorts of damage everywhere. Torn and tattered sails, torn and tattered flag, pieces of wood broken down and torn to shreds. Even the face was disfigured on the bow. It was extraordinarily large, like a skyscraper, and it docked itself right next to Baratier. That wasn't the work of men, a great galleon ravaged to that degree, Sanji said to Luffy. They must have sailed through a typhoon. And the door opened with a whoosh. Everyone looked in the direction of the open door. There was a man in shadow standing there, quietly. Huh? Patty said. Ooh. The wind cheered on, and the crowd gasped. And there was the pirate at arms, carrying Don Krieg in his arms. Please, may I have some food and water? Huff, Don Krieg said. I got money, lots of money, plenty of offers you would never refuse. What? One of the chefs said. What was that? Pretty shabby for a king. Patty was in shock. Dude, he looks hungry. What's going on? Luffy and Sanji continued watching on as they saw how drained of life Don Krieg was. He lost a lot of energy and he collapsed down. Don Krieg, the pirate at arms said. Food, water, please. The Don's on the verge of death, the pirate at arms said. If we don't help him, he's doomed. If you don't help him, he's doomed. The pirate at arms said as Don Krieg's hand stretched outward, seeking help. The crowd stood silently. The pirate at arms realized what had happened. And Patty screamed out, "Ah ha ha, Rich, what a laugh. This bum is the dreaded Don Krieg. This time I've got money, we got customers. We are the customers. Alert the Navy. They won't want to miss an opportunity to catch this fiend. Don't feed him a crumb, just grab him," Patty pointed out to the crew. But the crowd stood there in shock. If he regains his strength, there's no telling what he'll do to us. He's a pirate and a killer. Starving's too good for him. He deserves to die, so let him. The chefs also said, "If Krieg regains his strength, he'll pillage this restaurant. Don't even give him a cup of water." Don Krieg responded to everyone's fears. "I won't harm anyone. Feed me, please, and I'll leave quietly. I beg you, help me." Don Krieg, don't gravel. This isn't you, the pirate at arms yelled out. "It's beneath you. Please, I beg you. Leftover rice, anything." Don Krieg's head buried into the floor, prostrated like a vassal. "Anything." The crowd just stared on. Not a single one moved a budge. Pirate Arms screamed out, "Don Krieg!" "Oh," Patty said, "trying for symphony." "Out of the way, Patty!" Sanji said, with a bottle of beer in one hand and a plate of food on the other. And with a swift kick to the face, Sanji knocked Patty away and onto the floor. Sanji stood before Don Krieg and Jin. "Here, Jin, you can eat this." Sanji presented the food and drink. "Sanji," Jin said as Don Krieg lifted his head up and looked in surprise. "Thank you." Don Krieg grabbed the food and, without even using a fork or knife, just shoveled as much food as he could down his face and throat. It was like an animal. "Sanji!" one of the chefs screamed out from behind. "Take that food away from him! Don't you know who he is?" Let's see. "He's foul play Krieg, tyrant of the Eastern Seas. He started out in prison, then he lied his way onto a Navy ship." They said expositioned as Don Krieg continued to eat over and over. "He killed the officers and took over. That's how he got his start as a pirate." The chef gritted his teeth. "Flying away flag. He's flying the Navy flag. He sails into ports and attacks both town and ships. Sometimes he flies a white flag, then opens fire. He'll stoop to anything to win. His duplicity is legendary. At full strength, he'll be unstoppable. He says he'll go if we feed him. But we can't trust him." Sanji noticed the patrons behind him getting nervous, shivering in place in fear as the chef continued with his exposition. "That two-faced scoundrel should starve. The world would be a better place." And suddenly, Don Krieg clotheslined Sanji. There was a loud whack. Luffy was in shock. The pirate crew was in shock. Jin was in shock. And everyone watched Sanji tumble around. They screamed out his name. "Sanji!" Jin immediately yelled out, "You said you wouldn't, Krieg. You swore you wouldn't hurt anybody if I let you hit. That man saved our lives." To which Don Krieg immediately clutched Jin's right shoulder. "The food was good. My strength was returning." And Jin screamed out in pain. "Ah!" Luffy gritted his teeth in pure anger. "Jin, dude!" While all the patrons screamed, "Ah!" Sanji lifted his head up. Blood dripped off the side of his lip. "So that's how it is?" "Nice restaurant," Don Krieg said to Sanji. "I'll take it." To be continued. One Piece, Chapter 46 by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 47. the Don's offer. Don Krieg stood before the restaurant. All the patrons scared out of their minds. Luffy merely watching on with his fist curled up. Patty knocked out. Jin knocked out. Sanji slowly getting himself back to his feet. And the crowd gasping awed. Ah! Outrageous! Krieg, what wants the ocean-going restaurant? The chef said. Get on the boat! The crowd screamed out as they ran for their lives out of the restaurant. Let's get out of here! Patty nursed the wound that Sanji gave him. Went, ugh. What's all the ruckus? Don Krieg, you swore? Jin said as he slowly struggled to get up while nursing his right shoulder. Luffy, however, screamed out, Jin, dude, you okay? His question caught everyone's attention. Oh, Sanji looked up and sighed. Patty screamed out, What? What? He was horrified as he sat there on the floor. And Don Krieg spoke. My ship's a wreck. I need a new one. He placed his hand on his chest. When I'm finished with you, I'll dump you. With his bandage over his head and a puff of smoke coming out of his mouth. Chains for a necklace. He looked a little too awesome. Don Krieg continued as his ship remained docked on Baratier. I have about 100 men on my ship who still draw breath. They're dying from wounds, hunger, thirst. They need 100 rations of food and water. Don Krieg said to the sound of "woo" as his crew laid across the ground, across the deck, suffering, struggling, gasping for air, unable to move. You will prepare them, he said. Some have already starved to death. There's no time to waste. One of the crewmates quietly said, Water! Water! The chef, one of the chefs spoke up. You expect us to feed 100 pirates so they'll have the strength to take over our ship? We refuse! Refuse? What have I done to deserve this? I come with a great deal. Your life? Or this building? You see, you don't understand. This is no ordinary deal. It's not a request. It's an order. Do not defy me. Don Krieg let out an aura of sheer evil. Pure malice like no other. All the chefs freaked out. Jin gritted his teeth in tears. Sorry, Sanji. I never meant. And Patty looked back at Sanji in anger. You got us into this mess. Where are you going, Sanji? Sanji walked away. Very quietly, very slowly. The kitchen, of course! He took out his cigarette and flicked it away. We've got 100 meals to prepare! And everyone was in shock. What? Sanji. That's right. Sanji, dude. And all the chefs surrounded Sanji with guns aimed at him. The hammers cocked back. They're ready to fire. Are you Krieg's dog, Sanji? Can't let you into the kitchen. We're not going along with this. It's an outrage. And Sanji threw his arms outward. With no weapons in hand, no sign of violence. He only had one thing to say. If you want to stop me, fire! I know, Luffy listened on. They're unredeemable villains. The chef was shivering with his gun aimed. But my job is to feed people, not to judge them. It gets too complicated. I'm not Twitter, you know. If a man is hungry, I feed him. That's a cook's job. What's the problem? His reasoning went unheard as Patty ran right up behind him and bashed him over the head with his fists. Patty! Hold him down. Hold him down, Patty said. And he pointed out at the chefs as they held his arms in place. Sanji, I know you feed the people I chase off. Maybe you're right to do that sometimes, but this time you're wrong. Now you keep still. I'm gonna defend this restaurant. Don Krieg was unimpressed. He may be Don Krieg, but he's just one man. He can't beat all of us. This is Baratier. Patty removed the sheet of whatever he was carrying, and he lifted up. We deal with rowdy pirates every day, and we know what kind of customer service to give them. Ooh, the wind howled. And out came a giant cannon. he cocked the bullet, the cannon, and aimed it right at Don Krieg. You've eaten. Here's your dessert, the meatball of doom. And a loud boom blared through the restaurant. The cannonball went straight for him, and straight for Don Krieg. And Don Krieg only said one word: impotence. And he took the hit directly, causing a loud explosion. He was blown back, and is that the shape of a lobster? And Patty stood proud with his lobster bazooka as Jin screamed out, Don Krieg! Don Krieg! Luffy was shocked. Sanji remained quiet. As they saw Don Krieg lay on the ground, splayed in blood, and he was outside now, smoldering in the smoke. Blast, I busted the door, Patty said. Jim will have your hide! One of the chefs noted as they all watched on to see what Krieg will do. It's nothing. A small price to pay for saving Baratier. And what about the men on Krieg's ship? Sanji said. I say we smear butter on the ship and set it on fire, Patty said with a light smile. Sounds delicious, Chef, Don Krieg said as he slowly lifted himself up. And what? And there was the sound of a clank. How? Patty was shocked. The dessert was a bit heavy for my taste. Hardly a 4-star meal. And Don Krieg stood before everybody, fully armored. Chest plate, arm plate, even 2 shields on the shoulder with skull and crossbones of his flag etched onto it. Dude, his body, it's all shiny. He's like Goldman or something. Steel armor, what a dirty trick. Rush him! Patty yelled out, and with pitchforks in hand, the chefs charged with a loud scream. Ah! And suddenly, oh my gosh, that's dang! Suddenly, Don Krieg pulled out not just only 2 guns, but a whole bunch of gun turrets popped out of from underneath the armor and screamed down, "Insolence!" and started open fire on all of them, each bullet piercing their bodies and leaving them screaming, "Ah!" and blood splaying all over the place. Total squibs. They all fall to the ground, bleeding out from the bullet wounds. Gun barrels all over him, the Sanji said. Bullets! Dude, that's awesome. Focus! Jin began crying in tears. No one defies Krieg, you worthless scum! Krieg yelled out with his mouth wide open and a fly entered into his throat. The gun smoldered its smoke from post firing. I am stronger than anyone! Arms of steel, stronger than any flesh. Krieg flexed his arms. A carapace of the strongest wood steel. He flexed his chest. Diamond fists to demolish anything. He raised his armored gloves into the air. And a built-in array of weapons. His bullets smoldered out. I command 50 ships and 5,000 fighting men, he said. I've never lost a battle. I am the Dawn of the Pirate Armada. If I tell you to prepare food, you shut up and do it. No one defies me. I am the Dawn. I am the Godfather. And there was a big giant bag of food, very large, planted right before him. Chef Zeph! Everyone said as they watched the head chef stand before him. There's food for 100. Take it to your men. Zeph? You say Zeph? Don Krieg recognized him. Chef, what do you think? If we feed all those pirates, they'll come and overrun us. Unless they're all spineless dogs, he said, and they and the chefs were like, huh? What? Huh? Hey? Huh? He looked at Don Krieg. You went to the Grand Line, but you ran scared, eh? Oh, he called Krieg a coward, the chef said. The tyrant of the Eastern Sea who commands 50 pirate ships? Yes, that guy. That one. Couldn't handle the Grand Line? Jin immediately freaked out over that fact. The Grand Line, dude, Luffy said. You're Retsu Seth. Don Krieg realized who he was in the presence of, and a sweat drop slowly trickled down his cheek. To be continued. One Piece, Chapter 47 by Eiichiro Oda. One Piece by Eiichiro Oda, Chapter 48, Steer Clear. Don Krieg was shocked at who he was standing in the presence of. He stood out with his armor gleaming and shiny in chrome, and he spoke. Red Shoes, Seth, so you're alive. A unique pirate, the captain cook. So what if I'm alive? Zaf said, standing tall, with fist clenched, with the giant bag of food standing between them. What's it to you? Now I'm a chef exclusively. Huh. You'll say it like it was a choice, but did you choose to be a cook, or was being a pirate too much for you? Krieg crossed his arms with a smile on his face. Zaf never replied. Looks like your Red Shoes days are behind you, he said. Red Shoes Zef, master of the deadly kick who never used his hands in battle. That awesome leg strength could smash bedrock and even leave footprints in steel. Don Krieg imagined Zap breaking bedrock with his own feet. The blood of your enemies dyed your shoes red, hence your unusual nickname. They say you died at sea. I see you didn't lose your life, but you did lose one of your precious legs. Sanji gritted his teeth. I can't fight anymore, but I can cook. Look, as I have these two hands. Zap presented his bare hands to him. What are you getting at? Spit it out. Red Shoes said, you once sailed that devil's nest, the Grand Line, but you returned unscathed. Yeah, Don Krieg smiled with rubbing his chin. You kept the record of that voyage a whole year's log. Give me your logbook. There is no deal. Dude, you been to the Grand Line too, old man? Aye, my logbook, eh? Yeah, I still have it. Zappa continued staring at Don Creek. But I won't give it to you. For me and the men who sailed with me, that logbook is a testament. It is the holy Bible of piracy. I won't give it to the likes of you. You can't handle the gospel. Then I'll take it from you like a good godfather. It's true. I didn't succeed on the Grand Line, but I am Don Creek, the mightiest of all. Creek continued shaking his fist at Zaf, delivering zero fear into the head chef. Weaklings do well to shun that dark route, but I had plenty of strength, ships and men and ambition. The chef's glowered at the thought of being called weak. Luffy listened on. The only thing I lacked was knowledge. That's what stopped me. I just didn't know enough. I could have been a contender. Now I'll have that log and this ship too. You can't have it, Patty said with sheer anger, as one of the chefs planted his hand on his shoulder to hold him back. This ship's all we've got in the world. Yeah, we've been cast out from everywhere else. The chef started speaking. Sheriff Zeph is our savior. He took us when no one else would. We won't let you take our ship. To which then Don Creek yelled out, Puny fools! No one can defy me. I am the Godfather. You've seen that I'm the strongest of all. I'll take Zeph's log. Zeph extended his hand out, expecting to receive it. Assemble another armada, capture the One Piece, and lord it over this great age of pirates. You will be the godfather of pirates. To which Luffy clenched his fist. Hold it, dude. Who said you're gonna be the king of the pirates? Luffy pointed at him. I'm gonna be the king of the pirates. 'Cause I'm most righteous. And suddenly all the chefs started laughing. Sure, boy. Sanji was silent. And Patty yelled out, Stay out of this, kid. He'll murder ya. I can't, dude. Not out of this. No way. He is most not righteous. Did you say something to me, boy? Don Creek said. Don't you want to take that back? He stood very quietly. Nope, dude. I was only stating the facts, shiny and chrome. This isn't a game. The piracy. It's like a mafia thing. You gotta do it right, kid. Obviously. Weren't you listening? The Grand Line was too much even for Krieg. The chef screamed out. Can't we just call it off? Going there is a suicide. Stay quiet. Stay out of this. Meanwhile, Luffy's crew is just sitting at the table chilling. Time to fight, Luffy, Zolo said with his sword at the ready. I'll lend you a hand. He smiled with glee. Solo dude, Usopp dude, you guys still here? Nah, I can handle this. We're good, Luffy said. And Don Creed went, hey. And then he realized what Luffy said and laughed again. That's your crew. Pretty thin, ain't it? Oh my. Wrong, dude. There are two more. Don't count me in, Sanji said as he sat on the floor. Don't be so cocksure, kid. I was a champion once. I had a fleet and 5,000 men, and in 7 days we were smashed to bits in the Demon Sea. 7 days? Patty screamed out. Krieg's Mountain was destroyed so quick we could have done it, the chef screamed out. Usopp cried in tears and pointed outward. Did you hear that? 50 ships in 1 week. Solo smiled, all chilled. Sounds interesting. Reckless impudence. But you're not funny, Krieg said. Watch your mouth or I'll kill you right now. Krieg immediately grabbed the sack of food. Now listen carefully. I'll give you a chance. Here's the deal. I'm taking this food to the men on my ship, then I'm coming back. Anyone who doesn't want to die had better be gone when I return. All I want is the captain's log and the ship. Krieg immediately slung the giant sack over his shoulder. But if you're eager to die, wait for me. I'll bury you at sea and spare you the Grand Line. It's your choice. And the ship sailed off. Oh no, wait, the ship is still docked. The ship is still docked to Baratier. With all the tables flung over and trashed throughout the restaurant. Jin sat on his knees and bowed his head down. Sanji, forgive me. I didn't think he would do this. To which Zeph stepped in. It's not your fault, Swabby. Chef. The cooks helped to bring this on us as well, Zap said, as everyone looked and listened. Patty immediately intervened. Chef, are you siding with Sanji? You're crazy. He's the guy who started all this trouble. Sanji wants to destroy your precious restaurant. Don't you, Sanji? One of the chefs pointed at him as he took another puff of his smoke, sitting all chill at the wall. You'd do anything to be the head chef. Either that or you're insane. Which is it? Shut up, you eggplants! Zap screamed out, and everybody stood at attention. Has any of you ever really been hungry before? Have you gone for days without food and high water on the high seas? Sanji immediately covered his mouth, holding in his emotions. Do you have any idea what agony that is? Huh? So what, chef? Who cares? We want to beat up Sanji for all this. If you're gonna keep moaning, Zap said, then just head out the back door. And make sure I kick you in the nuts, each one of you. Suddenly, there was a grip on the Oh, I realized those are giant those are giant forks. Oh my gosh. They gripped their giant forks. It's not just pitchforks, it's dining forks. Giant dining forks. I never even caught that. Oh man. So they got a good grip on their giant dining forks. And Patty said, I'll stay and fight. I can't stand to let Krieg have his way. Me neither. This restaurant's my home. Yeah, I got nowhere else to go. Fools? Are you fools? Jin said. You saw what Krieg could do? You better run. Jin! Sanji said and took a big puff of his smoke. Listen to me. As a cook, I consider it my duty to feed the hungry. Sanji crossed his leg over and patted his knee. But soon I'll be facing plunderers with full stomachs. So if I have to beat your mates to death, don't complain. If they try to take over the ship. Suddenly, a shadow veiled over his eyes. I'll slaughter them without mercy, and that goes for you too. Got that? Jin immediately shivered in place. Humph, Patty said. First you save him, then you kill him? Good idea, Sanji. Be quiet, crab cooker, and your giant fork. Luffy immediately pointed out at the crowd as he sat on the table and said, see, dude, he's tough, huh? To which Usopp replied, Who cares? Who cares? We gotta get out of here. Relax, Zolo said in his chilled state. They're wounded and starving. Yeah, dude. Besides, I've got to fight Krieg. He looks awesome. He's a powerful rival. I'll have to take him down sometime in a most righteous way. By the way, Jin. Yeah, Jin said as he lifted his head up at Luffy. You said you didn't know anything about the Grand Line, but you've been there, dude. Sanji looked in Luffy's direction. I know nothing. It's all a crazy fog. Something happened on our 7th day out, but was it a dream or a reality? It's all mixed up in my head. He appeared so suddenly. Just one man. How could one man scupper 50 ships. Jin, whoa. Oh, that's a hat. Huh. Um, Jin reminisced all the boats he was that he was with shattered and destroyed and sinking into the sea. What? Impossible! Everyone was in horror as they heard the revelation. Krieg's armada was destroyed by one man. Oh no, wait. Yeah. Before we knew it, Jin said, our ships were sinking one after the other. If that storm hadn't come up, we'd have sent the flagship to the bottom too. I'm not sure how many ships survived. Jin lowered his head even further in pain. It was terrible. I can't believe it was real. I don't want to remember that. That man with the piercing hawk eyes that could kill with a glance. To which that description caught Solo's attention. What? He gritted his teeth in sheer anger, his vein bulging out of his forehead and sweat pouring down his forehead. To be continued. One Piece, Chapter 48 by Eiichiro Oda. Okay, everybody. Oh my gosh, this was actually pretty good. This was pretty good. Don Krieg is definitely a very nice character. I wish they would have kept him in the live action. I know I shouldn't be talking live action or anything, but that's not my point. My point is that was pretty cool. Don Krieg is such a cool character, and from the description at the end, well, I'll get to the end, but from that description at the end of the chapter 48, sounds like that dude who's that, Mihawk, I think it was called, in the live action. I mean, he was just there briefly, but he's the one who fought Solo. But let me not get ahead here. First and foremost, I really like how they turned this into a debate, like a whole big discussion regarding feeding pirates, knowing full well that if they come back to full strength, they're gonna unleash all kinds of horrors and everything. It was very interesting how that was treated as a debate, because yeah, if you have a chance to kill off pirates who are bloodthirsty murderers, do you feed them and give them their strength back and such? Apparently, the Saf's answer is yeah, because turned out Don Krieg went to the ley line. They had some funny moments here. I mean, seriously, seriously, this is just hilarious here. This is really, really, really funny. Oh man, we get to really see him fawning over the women, Sanji. But yeah, it had a nice, good pacing. It had some good, fun moments. What a great way to introduce, have Sanji interact with the crew and see how he responds to them. A great way to start that and establish what will soon be the next crew member, the ship's chef. The passing of time is also good too. I'm glad that was established. So this wasn't something that was going to happen in a single day, and thank goodness. I think I would have been real mad if this whole arc was just in a single day and dragging it out and everything. So it was good. It was good. We had a good passage of time going there. Let's see. Introduction to Don Krieg was really nice. I mean, this is one heck of an artwork here. Like, this is very cool, seeing tattered ship and everything. Really, really the variety of ships in this series. Oda really can draw. Like, he's very creative with how he creates the ships and everything. Just look at this, the detail and everything. I like it. I like it. Really exemplifying. I wonder if he knows how to do how ships work. I'm very curious if he was a sailor, because that would be really interesting to know. I'll have to do some investigation on that. But yeah, our first introduction, our formal introduction to Krieg now. Very cool. Very nice design. they all like to come in looking like pimps. Come in all pimp like and everything. Uh, and that's when, we start having the whole big debate and everything. With Sanji, getting into a fight. And then after, Don Creek really gets energy back so quickly. Like, my gosh, man. But then that's when we start to find out the real truth of what happened to Don Krieg in this one, chapter 47. I mean, right now it's just all talk and everything. Like, Don Krieg's explaining his crew and he's giving his ultimatums, and everybody's just freaking out. Sanji decided, hey, let's feed, and we end up with this crazy retaliation from the chefs here. They're like ready to take him down and everything. Very cool. Very well done here, showing all the guns up and everything. It's pretty interesting that they all got the guns out ready to go blazing. But he's like, yeah, do it, just do it. But my gosh, the freaking freaking Patty and the lobster gun. That is so clever and inventive. A lobster gun here. It's just really funny. The meatball of doom. But seriously, this is a very cool, innovative design for a gun. It's a lobster cannon that looks like a lobster, and the freakish eyes and everything. And that's when we get the whole truth regarding just exactly what type of power Don Krieg is. And let me tell you something. This is a cool design. Don Krieg's got a very cool design here. Look at the armor, man. And surprisingly, he comes packing with heat. He has his own gun turrets attached to this stuff. But still, this is a really cool design. I like that. I like that. I like that. And this is a nice splash page. A very good splash page. You see all the guns and where they're placed at. Very discernible. You could tell that it opens up and everything. Everybody getting shot down. But getting back to the plot, with now we come to the revelation here. Zap is like, yeah, you're a waste of time. I'm not going to even deal with you. Here's this giant bag of food because I know where you were. You went to the Grand Line. And now we start getting more information about the Grand Line, which is pretty cool. I think this did much better than the live action. I know I'm doing the comparisons again, but I think this did a much better comparison when we go into chapter 8, when everything's explained, just how devastating the Grand Line can be. How devastating the Grand Line can be to ships. But yeah, we find out in all of this, and in all of this, despite all of this, it turns out it was one guy, this guy here. I recognized the hat. I was kind of shocked, and I think that's the dude Mihawk that I saw in the live action. If that's him, I can't wait to see him. He's pretty cool. He's another cool character. But it turns out that he was the one who destroyed all the ships. It's like, wait, what? I thought it was the Grand Line. But yeah, it turned out that the storm did show up. Mihawk was just a symptom of what was to come. But the storm showed up and sank all the ships. And now Luffy, and with that, knowing full well that Zaf has the log books on that because he survived. Well, apparently he did survive, as Don Krieg pointed out. Zaf really wasn't, suffering or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he came back alive. And that means that he had the books and everything, these log books. So, yeah, he wants all of that stuff, the ship, the Baratier, the log books, and he's going to make another attempt at the Grand Line. But Luffy now that he knows that, he's surrounded by people who've been at the Grand Line, he's going to, he has a chance to get information, probably even the logbook if he's lucky enough to receive it, so that way he can be able to do his pirating, his adventuring. But I like how this moved along here very nicely. You know what I'm saying? We got right to the key to the key situation, the key plot, and that is getting to the Grand Line, which is cool. I like that. I like that. But ultimately, these three sets were pretty good. Like this, aside from, I don't know, this actually got much better. Like I don't feel it dragged on, like the previous arc did with the cat pirates, and there's no unnecessary characters like the three children, compared to the previous arc. This is actually, it's starting to get stronger now. Like the story and the pacing is getting much stronger. It's got us back to the point and everything. And oh my gosh, I'm enjoying this arc. I'm enjoying this arc. I'm wondering what more. I'm wondering what more. I'm wondering what more to expect. So yeah, okay. Oh man, I can't wait to see this big fight with Don Krieg, and I can't wait to see Mihawk. See how Mihawk is depicted in the manga here. That's gonna be pretty cool. So that's it. That's this set of chapters of One Piece. Thank you all for joining me. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, follow. You know you want to. Be sure to head on over to barnesandnoble.com or amazon.com and grab yourself a copy of The Impossible Man, Strange Fantasy Novel written by me. One of my many merches that you'll find in the links below in the description. Make sure to support the release. I should know it is pretty awesome. And if you want to check out any of the live streams, you could join me on my live multi streams, Twitch and Kick. You'll find the descriptions here. You could come here and all that stuff. Mondays through Thursdays, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And finally, if you're interested, if you want to participate in the growth of these Let's Reads, you can head on over to my Patreon. I'll make sure the link is in the description. I kind of realized it. And just swing on over, and if you're interested in joining, there you go. Alright, so with that said, I wish you all a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasumi nasai.